Good morning. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Planet Doug Behind the Scenes. As always, my day is starting right here. I found out recently that if I cross the street around the corner, it's much easier and much safer. But I keep forgetting about that, and I keep coming here, and basically a blind corner, and you have to wait until a break. You're just guessing that nobody's coming. Oh man, look at this bus coming our way. Yeah, they have a lot of these double-decker rapid KL buses. I've never ridden in one. I should do that just for fun, just for the experience. I've only ever ridden in the, whoa, I was about to go. And there's another number 300. Yeah, it's just after 9 o'clock in the morning, so I'm dealing with early morning traffic. I see somebody whipping around. There they are. Now I think I can go. All right. And this side can be equally challenging because you've got traffic coming from 3 different directions and you're not sure where they're going to be coming from. As I've often pointed out, the embassy for Nepal is right there beside my hotel, and this morning it was really busy. Big crowd of people there.
Hi.
Hello, I'm fine, how are you? What's that? Canada.
I'm from Bangladesh.
From Bangladesh? Ah, okay. I've been to Bangladesh.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. I was just saying that it was really busy outside of the embassy today. So many people processing to get new passports, I guess. And then 2 men there just stopped me to say hello, and they are from Bangladesh. So yeah, a lot of the people that if I'm walking around with the GoPro and people call out to me, say hello, and we chat for a bit, the majority of them are immigrant workers. They see me with the GoPro and they want to say hello, and they tend to be from Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, countries all over. So yeah, it's always fun walking around KL. So, and as always, no big surprise, I'm walking to the Masjid Jamak LRT station right here. I have to stop and think for a minute before I get too caught up in talking on camera about where I'm going. Okay, I have it straight in my head. Now I know where to go. I don't want to go to the wrong platform. And what I'm doing is hopping on the Sri Petaling Ampang line heading to Titiwangsa. I've done this just recently, and I transferred there to the Putrajaya line to get me to Sentul Barat. And there I'm going to be meeting up with, drumroll, Daryl from Wander Eats. We're just meeting for coffee. 2 YouTubers like us, we never run out of things to talk about, YouTube and camera gear related. So I'm gonna meet up for coffee. Good way for me to start my day. There it is, Masjid Jamak. This is the Kelana Jaya entrance, Kelana Jaya stop 13. And I'm actually not taking the Kelana Jaya line, which is here's where I am, and this red one is the Kelana Jaya line. I'm taking one of these 2 lines to head up here to Titiwangsa. The yellow one, that's the Putrajaya line, and then I'm getting to there. All right. And you've seen my favorite machine many times, but since I'm meeting Daryl for coffee, I don't need the coffee bot this morning. I'm just gonna say hello to the coffee bot and then dive into the system. The power of the touch and go. Oh, I made a mistake already. There I am talking about thinking in advance. And what I should have done was cross the street and enter the station from the other side of the street, but I totally forgot. So I've set myself up for a big underground and an underground tunnel journey, which was completely unnecessary. But yeah, I'm on the wrong side of the road. I have to get over to the other side. Yeah, if I ever tell you I know something about the LRT, MRT system here, don't believe me. I still make mistakes all the time. But as always, I blame everything on the GoPro. Talking into a camera reduces your intelligence level by at least 50%, maybe 70%. So the Doug on Planet Doug is 70% dumber than the Doug in real life, just because I'm talking into a camera. It occupies so much of your brain power. So there you see my problem. I'm following that one arrow going straight ahead, and that's taking me to Putrajaya. But I want to go towards Central Timor. So my arrow is this arrow. And that takes me over here, and it takes me down this area here. And then it takes me around this corner, and that will take me down this tunnel. So there you go. I didn't take a look at this the other day when I passed by, but it looks kind of interesting. It's some sort of a photography project. Maybe let's take a look at it while I'm passing by. If I'm late meeting Daryl, he'll understand if I'm a couple minutes late. So this was, well, what's going on here? Sherry Tioman 1. 3 blocks of medium-cost flats in Taman Malati. I was just there. I was just in Malati, or Malawati. 400 families live there. We invited the kids on a photo discovery journey to the heart of the city and back. 40 kids, aged 16 to 17, accepted the author. So they basically put them through a photography course, taught them about historical places, and then they took all of the pictures based on what they learned. That's on day 1. So it's a mini workshop about photography and history. And then day 2, they asked them to take pictures of their homes and neighborhood. And they were armed with newfound wonder. So they saw the world in a new way. And here are the results. So I guess, here are all of the young photographers and their volunteers and mentors. It's quite a list. And then the entire tunnel wall is filled with the photos that they took. I don't know what the photography course was all about. So he's got a little point and shoot camera. I'm just wondering whether they were using their smartphones, as most people do today, or whether they set them up with actual cameras. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's even on Planet Doug, that's a classic image. You could never resist one of those traffic mirrors. A whole series of photographs here. As I said, I did not stop and take a close look at these, but I'll do that perhaps on my way back. Old cars sitting in empty lots are always, they're like catnip to a photographer. Can't resist. Of course, cats. Nobody can resist a cat to take a picture. So here's some of the kids. Oh, it looks like they all have, this must be one of the mentors, the teachers. He's got a big pro camera, and all the kids actually have point and shoot pocket cameras. So that would be interesting for them. I'll bet you these kids, they probably all have a good smartphone. Everybody does. But they would never, very few of them would ever have had a chance to use an actual camera like that. So at least they would learn some basics of photography that maybe you don't learn those things when you shoot with a smartphone. I, of course, am busy using my new Ulanzi grip on my smartphone. So it kind of turns, in terms of ergonomics, it turns my phone into more of a camera, which I really, really love. And this project, I guess, is part of an overall project, rejuvenating the city through the arts. I love stuff like that. Arts on the Move. Yeah, I've seen that name around Kuala Lumpur. Rejuvenating public spaces. Enrich lives through the arts, basically. Arts on the Move, a project by Think City Rapid KL. So yeah, so that's the project, and that's the tunnel that I guess that's kind of a rule of thumb in life. You go on an unexpected detour. It takes longer, but at least you see new things along the way. And this is where the tunnel takes you. All I did, I'm here beside the river and beside the mosque. And essentially all I did, that whole big underground journey, all I did was cross the street, which I didn't need to do at all. I've never actually gone up these stairs. I've always come at these trains from a different spot. And there's my train. If I run, maybe I can catch it. I have another sort of rule of thumb in life. I don't run for trains. It's just a little thing, but I broke my own rule today. I don't want to be late meeting up with Daryl. Make sure I got on the right train. Yep. If you're on the right platform here, you're always going to be on the right train. Masjid Jamek, Bandaraya, Sultan Ismail, PWTC, Titiwangsa, and there we transfer. And there's the real world out there, outside the LRT MRT system. Sunny day, which is nice. I wanted to film some of that busy highway, but it's already disappeared. We've turned inland, and I have to move away from the door because this is we're exiting from this side. Don't want to be in anybody's way if they want to enter or exit. This is going to be a relatively short journey to meet Daryl. So I don't know how much of my behind-the-scenes stories I can tell, but I guess I can get started, and maybe my overall story will be broken up by real-life events, meeting Daryl and having coffee, things like that. But the main thing I wanted to talk about, of course, are my plans for going to Vietnam, which are creeping up the percentage ladder, getting closer and closer to 100%. Like 100% certainty that Planet Doug is on the road and going to Ho Chi Minh City. It's looking more and more likely. At least I'm making it much more of a possibility because I applied for my tourist visa, a 90-day tourist visa, and I applied for it using Vietnam's relatively new eVisa, though actually I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. The visa rules and regulations and systems, everything in Vietnam seems to be changing dramatically just over the last year, sort of post-pandemic. I'm just guessing, I have no inside knowledge, but it seems like they've sort of been, maybe I'll move to the other side, might be better light over here. Yeah, the light is coming in from that window. I've seen a lot of articles where they're talking about competing in the tourism market, and they took advantage of the pandemic ending, and they knew people would want to travel again, and I think someone in the government said, hey, let's make things easier, and maybe we can snag that market, that tourism market, when it swings into action again, and basically get a head start on other countries. I'm just guessing, because as I said, I've seen a lot of articles about introducing easier visas, like getting it easier through an e-visa system, extending the length of them. So now Vietnam offers a 90-day tourist visa, which is amazing. So few countries offer that now. Malaysia is somewhat special in that regard, that they do offer a 90-day social visit pass. But if you go to Indonesia, you're going to get 30 days with the possibility of extending for another 30. But of course, you have to apply twice, pay twice. And then this eVisa for Vietnam, you apply once, you pay once, and it's $25 US. And that gets you a 90-day visa, which in the modern world of tourist visas for lowly backpackers such as myself, that's a bargain. It seems almost unheard of now. So what does that work out to? $8 a month for your tourist visa in Vietnam, and there are no tourism taxes on top of that. I mean, in Malaysia, the tourism tax alone is more than that. You're paying 10 ringgit per night, so after 2 or 3 nights, you've already paid more than you would have paid for the entire visa in, where am I? I don't want to miss my stop. Oh, this is PWTC, I believe, or is it Titiwangsa? Titiwangsa, I would have missed my stop. Crazy. Yeah, moving pretty fast. I'm normally a little bit more slow and thoughtful as I do things. And I did this quite recently. I made the transfer from Titiwangsa to Putrajaya, and I was very impressed with the signage. Like right here, just as you come down the escalator, look at that, beautiful. Tells you about the interchange, monorail, and Putrajaya, and just tells you what direction to go in. That would be the exit if you're staying here. And the arrow, another arrow right up there, look at that, amazing, love it. Tells you to do the transfer. You head in this direction, and the monorail is over there. So you follow that pedestrian bridge over there to get to the monorail. Very cool. And you go down this tunnel to get to the Putrajaya line. Very, very good. I love these doors, accordion doors. I wonder if they're more or less durable than other doors. That folding mechanism sort of feels like that would wear out faster than another type of door, but hey, look at that, very cool. And then down here, you just always have to be mindful of the two systems operating together here, LRT, MRT. And where are you going? I am going MRT, so that is my arrow up there. So LRT monorail, a different direction. MRT this direction. Look at that, another coffee bot over there. But I'm soon I'll be enjoying a cup of coffee with Daryl somewhere. I'm not sure where we're going. Daryl, if I know him at all, I think he already has a place in mind. He's picking me up. Yeah, I just hop in the car, and then Daryl takes over my life from that point, and I don't mind that at all. Wander Eats knows better about food and coffee and things to do, places to go than Planet Doug. Down at the bottom of this escalator, we're going to encounter my new nemesis. I like checking out massage chairs, like coin-operated, inexpensive. You get a 10-minute massage in a shopping mall or a bus station. And it turns out they have massage chairs here, right at the base of this escalator. And I went through the whole process of figuring out how to use it. This one is a QR code payment system. You don't even need money for it. So I was pretty excited about that. I decided to give them a try. That is my massage chair right here by Rest and Go. So I figured the whole system out, and I got all comfortable, got excited, scanned the QR code, paid 5 ringgit, I think, and then a siren went off. basically telling me, get out of the chair, you know, woo, and it never gave me a massage. So it was, the connection was broken that day. I don't know if it's always that way, but now, of course, I don't dare try it again because I don't want to walk around just giving away 5 ringgit for nothing. I want that massage. Look at those beautiful turnstiles. Green and red. So modern. Love it. And here are the 2 platforms. Putrajaya, Kuala Damansara. I want to head towards Kuala Damansara. So I was just saying that the 90-day tourist visa that you can apply for via an online eVisa system for Vietnam is very exciting. And but it did take me some time to build up the energy to do it, because I tend to have trouble with these things, which I did have as it turned out. And I treat it like a campaign in a war that I'm going to battle with this online system. And it's going to take patience and time. It's a whole campaign where you marshal your resources. You get all of your documents ready to go. You have scans, digital copies of all of your documents. You have all of your phone numbers right there waiting in case you need to enter any particular phone number from your life, addresses, your home address, your current address, the address of where you're going to be staying in Vietnam, your flight number, your flight details, everything you can possibly imagine that the system is going to ask you for. You get that ready in advance because you don't want to go looking for it in the middle of doing it. Once you start the online application, you don't want it to go on forever, because now you're risking the internet cutting out, the power going out, whatever happens, the Wi-Fi disappears, and then you lose all the work you did. So I get everything in order, and I make sure I get a good night rest the night before. I wake up early, and it's the first thing I do. I make a cup of coffee, I sit down on the bed, surrounded by all my documents, all of my flash drives that have copies of all of my documents for uploading. I've got the folders open on my laptop containing my photo ID, a copy of my, like a digital picture of my passport data page, a download of my flight itinerary, my hotel reservation. Got everything ready to go. And then I take a deep breath and it's like, all right, here we go. And then I start the process. And I need all of that energy. I need all of that because I think by the time I was done, I think it took about 2.5 hours. And after 2.5 hours of just sitting there working nonstop, because I had to restart the process over and over and over because I kept getting kicked out of the system. But yeah, it was 2.5 hours before I was done. My train is arriving. There it is. Heading to Kuala Damansara from the Titiwangsa station on the Putrajaya line, platform 2. Beautiful trains, spacious. As I've often said, you know you're on the MRT system when the trains look like this. And there's the new digital signs that I'm always raving about. Gives you all the information about where you are and where you're going quite clearly. And then it switches over to this map of the entire line. Shows you exactly where you are. It's a very important station, Titiwangsa, because it has all of those connecting points, all of those transfer points. And that's where we're going, Sentul Barat. And this train is going all the way to Kuala Damansara. Perfect timing. It's 10 to 10. I'm meeting Daryl at 10 outside the station. I probably need 10 minutes just to walk down the long tunnel that gets me through this station. I was so busy this morning that I'm sitting here feeling like I forgot something. I keep touching my pockets. It's like, okay, I've got my wallet, my hotel room key, I've got my smartphone, I've got my GoPro extra. I think I've got everything, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm missing something. I don't know what it could be.
You are now at Sentul Barat.
Sentul Barat.
Pintu di sebelah kanan akan dibuka. Exit to the right door.
I love this system too. I've pointed it out. Big red barrier saying the doors do not open here. There's no confusion about that. And this is where you exit. So it's very easy to figure out where to go. Nice signs down here on the platform too. I like that they have that clock face there. Very handy. Maybe the kids today don't know how to read a clock like that, but that's what I grew up with. Certainly not on a digital display, but hey, in school, one of the first things you learn, of course, is how to read time on a clock. If your parents haven't already taught you. Up and up and up, as always. One level, another level, going up to the main entrance up there. Getting back to my tourist visa story, one thing I knew from experience to do was to make sure I check in for my flight before you apply for the visa, because you may need a confirmed flight, and it's a good idea to check in for the flight, have all of that sorted, and then, oh, I'm right at the side of the platform where I wanted to be, so that's good. Power the touch and go. I always have a hint of momentary confusion here. Exit C. I think this is my exit. And I just got a message from Daryl that he has arrived. And I sent him a message back that I too had arrived. Anyway, I was saying that I wanted to check in for my flight first. I bought the flight months and months and months ago, mainly as a requirement for immigration, Malaysian immigration. They want you to have a flight out of the country. They rarely ask to see it, but just in case, I booked and paid for a flight to Ho Chi Minh City. And then I hadn't checked in for it yet because I didn't know for sure that I was going. But since I was applying for the eVisa, I thought, okay, let's do that now. And so the first thing I did was check in for my Air Asia flight. I was happy to see that it still existed. My reservation was still good. Everything was fine. But then they hit me up with this, oh, you have to register for our face login program, part of the new security features and efficiency features. And I had just stepped out of the shower and my hair was soaking wet and slicked back to my head. And I thought, does facial recognition work when your hair is soaking wet? I wasn't sure. So I thought, oh, okay, now I have to wait for an hour just to dry my hair so I can do the facial recognition thing. But then it turned out that they're just telling you have to do it, but I guess I do it when I get to the airport. So I didn't have to do it at that time. So I checked in for my flight. Everything was good. I downloaded copies of the reservation, everything, added those to my document folder. I have a special documents folder labeled for this trip to Vietnam, and every time I do something, I make a copy of that document and then put it into that folder so I know where everything is that I need. My visa stuff, flight stuff, hotel stuff, money stuff, anything at all. I just keep stacking it up in that folder, keeping it all in one place. So, the famous Daryl, behind the scenes in action. Coffee time with Daryl. I'm just going to ask Daryl where we are, if he doesn't mind.
Okay, this is River City in Jalan Ipoh. So we are heading up to this coffee joint up there.
Oh.
And you have to climb up this staircase.
Ah, okay. Up there. How do you know about this place?
I stumbled upon it when they first opened because there was a queue here. I was like, what
I
the heck
see.
is this? So when I have a look, yeah, I've never featured this place before because.
Have you gone up there before?
Oh yeah. I took Darren here before as well.
I see.
And then he came by himself later as well.
So he liked it.
Yeah.
Darren approved.
Yeah, Darren approved.
Remote Darren, other YouTuber. So yeah, it's got a, is this a sign for the place? Curio. Coffee Roasters.
Yeah.
There's the name down there. Open daily, 10 to 6.
We are just in time.
Yeah, we're just in time. And they've got this spiral staircase going up. No idea what that view looks like on the GoPro, but let's go up the spiral staircase. And there's a door. May or may not be open. There we go. Open. Hello. Good morning. You mind if I shoot a little bit of video? It's for YouTube. Of course. A little bit. Not famous. Thank you. So here we are.
Can I give you a latte?
Yes, please.
Hot latte.
Ah, so they have this seating area in here. Very boutique-y, small. I don't know if they have other areas. Oh, maybe not. Looks like there's a yoga studio over there. Oh, nice balcony for smoking. Yeah, there you go. There's my philosophy. I need no inspirational quote. I need coffee. But then it looks like they're offering inspiration in the way of literature, travel, information, stuff like that, fashion. Anyway, so I guess we're gonna take a seat over there. I have my latte now, and the barista was just telling us that it's at 70 plus. And I wasn't sure what that meant at first, but Daryl had told them that I like my coffee as hot as possible. And apparently 70 plus means 70, above 70 degrees. And Daryl asked the barista, and she said that their normal temperature is around 60 plus. That's how they serve their coffee. It's a choice. And at that temperature, the milk stays together and the coffee comes out, the flavor. At 70 plus, it's too hot for most people. And you run the risk of the milk falling apart and you don't get the full coffee body flavor maybe. But I think I can handle the hot temperature. That's nice. That's a strong, flavorful cup of coffee. That's my first reaction to it. Nice and hot. Planet Doug approved. But I guess if you really want the hot coffee, you have to ask for it. That's just how things are. When I get served a lukewarm latte, I often think they made a mistake, that they just didn't know how to make the coffee properly. But I guess it's more of a choice for the local market, perhaps. Or maybe people in general, they just like their coffee at that temperature. And I am, as I am in many ways, an anomaly. I don't follow the norm. Nice. I'm going to enjoy that. Coffee with Daryl is over. We got all our camera talk out of our system, just leaving from Curio. And on my way out, I was looking around a little bit. I saw some name cards, and it turns out that they have another location, Jalan Ampang location. It's in the basement of a tall building, and from the photographs, I'll insert it here. I haven't been there myself, of course, but it looks more like a lounge, a real hangout place. So I guess it would have all the same quality coffee that they have here, but more of a relaxed basement lounge hangout environment. So that would be interesting to check out. If I'm in the neighborhood, I'll drop by. Back in the MRT system, heading down to the platforms. And this time I want to get the train to Putrajaya. So I'm basically reversing my path. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of shopping. I've been postponing some errands, and I have a feeling I can do a couple of things at the Pavilion Mall at KLCC. So that's where I'm heading now. I believe I may change my mind along the way, but we'll see. I'm thinking that's where I'm going to go. I've made it as far as the, where am I? Yeah, Titiwangsa station. I got confused about where I was. I think there's a couple of ways for me to get from here to KLCC where I want to go. But I'm just going to retrace my steps all the way back to Masjid Jamek, I think, and then go up from there to KLCC. It may be the long route, but it's the one I'm familiar with. So, heading back towards the Titiwangsa LRT. And yeah, I remember now. Just got to cut across here and ride up the escalator. And as I go, of course, I'm going to finish my story. I left off with the fact that before I began the Vietnam eVisa application process, I wanted to get all my ducks in a row. And one of the most important ducks, of course, is your flight into the country. And there was also a possibility that they were going to ask for a flight out of the country. And I thought, well, I'll deal with that. If it comes up, I'll figure something out. But at the moment, I didn't have one. So I just opened up my laptop and I went to what I thought was the official website for immigration of Vietnam. When I did some Google searches, I was a little bit confused because a lot of your searches will bring you to immigration agents or tourist agencies who offer you a service that they will help you get your visa. But I just wanted to do it myself, and I wanted to go through the official Vietnamese immigration eVisa portal, whatever that was. And I couldn't find it on my own. I'm just such a dummy that way. I can never quite figure out internet Google searches. I don't know what the right keywords are to pick out. But then my friend Daryl, he's been to Vietnam a number of times, and he sent me a link. Click on this link. It will take you to the official immigration website. So I did that, and my first reaction was I thought it was also some sort of an agency, because I was looking at the graphics and the layout. It looked somewhat old-fashioned, almost amateurish, like someone had done it in MySpace or something. It looked like a MySpace page. And the name of the URL, I was sort of looking for immigration Vietnam official.gov. something or other. But I didn't see anything like that. I saw a long, complicated Vietnamese word that didn't make any sense to me, and I was staring at that, and I was thinking, is this really the official site? Like, I thought maybe it could be a scam site or something, getting me to input my personal details or something. Who knows these days? So I took my time. I was going very slowly, which is what I do whenever I use one of these online things. And one thing I did was I took the URL and I copied and pasted it into Google Translate. And then I deleted all of the internet related stuff, and I left just the words that were in the URL. And then I wanted to see if Google Translate could translate them into English for me. But of course, then I had to carve it up into what I thought, because it was just a bunch of letters to me, just random letters that I couldn't tell where one word ended and one word began. And I just played around with it for a while. Platform 2, Putra Heights, right up there. There's the sign I was looking for. One direction goes to Ampang, Putra Heights, the other to Central Timor. I want to go in the direction of Ampang, Putra Heights, so I want platform 2. So we're heading in this direction. Just trying to pay attention, even though I'm telling my behind-the-scenes story. I've got to pay attention to where I am right now. And here comes one of the trains. Heading in the other direction. This is the one I don't want. played around with all of the words, cutting it in different places, until finally I got something in Google Translate. I took that one long phrase, turned it into 4 separate words, and it said it meant immigration. And I don't have access to it right now, but I'll insert Google Translate pronouncing the Vietnamese for immigration. So there's the word, and this is what it sounds like in Vietnamese.
Xuất nhập cảnh. Xuất nhập cảnh. Xuất nhập cảnh.
Now my train has arrived. And that's where we are, Titiwangsa. And I'm just going to Masjid Jamak, and then from there I'm going to transfer back to the Putrajaya line to go to KLCC. And this is the LRT line, what LRT trains look like. And there's the world out there, following the river. Looks like we're going to be passing side by side with another train. So, as far as I could figure out, I was on the right website, and I was on my laptop. But then I ran into quite a few problems. You get on a landing page, and then from there they have all different immigration services, and you have to click on a link that takes you to the eVisa form, basically. But before you could go there, there's just a whole bunch of weird things on the system there, where the English didn't make a lot of sense. And one of the very first things at the very beginning, before you could go to apply for the eVisa, you had to check a box that essentially said you had already completed the application. There's a checkbox down at the bottom, and you check the box, and it says, "I certify that I have read all the instructions carefully and that I have completed the application." So I was looking at that going, well, I haven't even started the application. So I was thinking maybe you have to finish the application, and then when you're finished the application, you come back here and you tick the box, okay, I've completed the application. Because that's what it said. Tick this box to certify that you have completed the application. But that's not really what it meant. What it really meant was tick this box to certify that you have read the instructions carefully and now you know how to fill out the application properly. But it didn't actually say that. So then I went over to the eVisa page, and it asks you for all the stuff you would expect. But at the beginning, nothing would work. I just got error message after error message after error message. The website wouldn't load, and it said something about it took too long to respond, some sort of an internet connection problem, host server problem. Who knows? You get all those random internet error messages to do with servers and the internet and Wi-Fi, whatever it is. And then when I finally got it to load, then I would start filling things out, and then I would get kicked out of the system. The whole screen would go blank and I would get an error message again, so I'd have to reload it, certify that I have already completed the application, go back to the eVisa application, start all over again from the top, putting in my name and passport number and flight date, all the information it's asking for. And then I got kicked out again. And then when I wasn't kicked out, I would get down to a point where there'd be like a drop-down menu that said, what type of passport do you have? And I guess you have to pick from a list, but there was no list. Like, you're supposed to get a drop-down menu, something to choose from. And then when it asks you for the date of your upcoming flight, things like that, it wouldn't open a calendar for me to choose the date. So there was no way for me to fill out any of the fields. And I couldn't get past that stage, no matter how long I tried, how long I worked at it, how many times I reloaded, rebooted my computer, went back to the website, reloaded. I went around and around and around, drinking my instant coffee, and I just could not get anything to work. And I was about to give up. Ooh, Here's a interesting view. Oh, interesting view is gone. We've arrived at the station. Where are we? Bandaraya. One more for me to get to Masjid Jamek. So then I remembered running into similar problems all the time. And quite often, if something won't work on my laptop, the website won't work, but it will work the mobile website. So if I go onto my phone, maybe it will work. So this time I went to my phone, clicked on the same link, went to the official government immigration website, and now everything went smoothly. All the drop-down menus were there. So when it said you have to select your passport type, you get a drop-down menu that says ordinary, diplomatic, whatever all the options were, and I would just choose ordinary. And when I had to choose the date for my flight, I got a calendar, and I could pick the year, the month, the day, things like that. So on my phone, everything worked. On my laptop, nothing worked. There's the outside world again. A little bit of it anyway. We should be coming up on the historic district. Yeah, there's Merdeka Square with the giant flagpole. And I always forget the name of this building. These are famous buildings built during the British colonial days. And the famous mosque should be coming up soon, right around the corner here. Right there. So there's Masjid Jamek. So I'm transferring to Putrajaya line here. And that's where we are. Woo. Stepping out into the bright sun. Yay. Everything was working better once I got onto my mobile phone, as I said, but of course you have to go through these sites very carefully and very slowly and read everything, particularly when you're on a foreign language sort of website. I mean, everything was in English, but the English was not always accurate, not always correct. So you got to read very carefully. And of course, I've got my own levels of dumbness to deal with. So I went through it very carefully. So there were some gotcha moments, like when you go to upload your photo, you have to upload a photo, like a portrait picture of yourself, and you have to upload a digital scan of your passport's information page. So I had those all ready to go. I always keep those in my folder. I've got nice clear images that I use all the time. But then when you go to the page where you're supposed to do that, there's already a sample in place because they show you what it is you're supposed to upload. So it says, okay, there's the sample, but then there's a button called select and another one called delete. So I'm thinking, okay, what do I do here? In order for me to upload my photo, I thought perhaps I had to delete the sample so that I could upload mine. I was worried that if I chose select, it would choose this sample of some random guy that isn't me and would insert that into my immigration record. So I wasn't like, do I hit delete? Do I hit select? What do I do here? And it turns out it's all irrelevant. The sample photo means nothing. It's going to disappear no matter what. So what you do is you just click on select, and then it allows you to upload your photo. But of course the photo has to be under a megabyte. My photos are way too large. I think mine was several megabytes in size. So I had to figure out a way to resize my photo before I could upload it, but I got that done. Did the same thing for my passport, and I uploaded it as well. Everything was going smoothly. I was happy about that once I got it figured out. And there were other things I really had to think about. So there was a section that said, have you ever entered Vietnam on a different passport? And I was just zooming along and I was going to click yes. I've been to Vietnam already in the past. And I had a different passport back then. It was decades ago. So of course I've had my passport renewed several times. But of course that's not what they mean. They don't mean, does your passport have a new passport number? They're asking, have you ever entered Vietnam underneath another identity? So I've got a passport from Canada. Technically, I've had the same passport my whole life. I've just renewed it a number of times, and each time it gets a new passport number. But technically, my passport is from Canada, has the same name. It's the same passport, I guess. And if I had two passports, for example, one from Canada, one from the Netherlands, where my parents were born, then had I used my Dutch passport to enter Vietnam, and now I'm using my Canadian passport. I don't have a Dutch passport, but just as an example, that's what they're asking. Have you ever entered Vietnam underneath a passport of another identity, of another nationality? So I thought, good catch there, Doug. And I ticked no. I have never, I've always been me, the Canadian, when I've gone to Vietnam in the past. So there were little things like that you always had to be careful that you're reading and you understand what you're saying yes or no to. As always, this is where I am, Masjid Jamek, and I'm going to KLCC. To be honest, I'd rather go home. I don't have the energy for shopping anymore, but that's what I'm going to do. And as I worked my way through the form, I did come across some other sort of interesting things that were of note. For one thing, it did ask you for a religion, and it was required. You couldn't leave it blank, so you had to specify what your religion was on the form. And something else I don't often see, they were asking for your date of birth, but it gave you two options for that. One option, you had the day, the date, the month, the year, you had your full date of birth. But the other option, you could actually say, you only know the year, so only the year is known. So I guess they have a lot of people applying for a visa who don't know what day they were born on. And they know they were born in 1975, but that's all they know. They don't actually know the month or the day, which is kind of interesting. And the one other gotcha that confused me for a while is that you have to fill out the day, your arrival date, of course, when is your flight into the country. And then they ask you to fill out the visa validity period. So how many days do you want on your visa? Which kind of confused me because I understood you could get a 30-day visa or you could get a 90-day visa, and I was just going to select 90-day visa. But it doesn't work that way at the beginning. It says, what day are you arriving and how many days would you like? So you must know the date that you're leaving. And I didn't have an official departure date yet, so I just sort of made one up, thinking I'm probably leaving around this date. So I chose that date, and then I went into Google Calendar and I counted the number of days I would need for my visa. And I just chose one very, very close to 90 days. I chose a day, and it turned out it was like 87 days. So I put in, I want a visa for 87 days because this is the date that I'm leaving. I did all these calculations and I'm kind of worried about it. I don't want to make a mistake. But then you go down further into the form and it asks you something else. Oh, visa, it asks you again for what kind of visa you want, how long. And when I put in my number of, I forget what it looked like now, but it ended up being 90. It just said, do you want a 90-day visa? And I said, oh, yeah, that's what I want. And I selected 90-day visa. But then when I was rechecking the form before submitting it, I went back up to the dates that I had input, and the system had automatically changed my exit day. So now it was no longer 87 days. They gave me a new date for leaving the country, which was 90 days in the future to match the 90 days that they were going to give me. So it made no sense. Do you see what I mean? They ask you to input a specific date, early in the form. And then we get into the bottom of the form, they say, oh, would you like a 90-day visa? Oh, you say, yes, please, 90 days. And then they go back and change the dates that you input to match 90 days. So if they're going to do that anyway, there's no point filling out the first part. Anyway, you know how it goes. You're applying for something with a government form. It's like solving a complicated puzzle, and you just read as carefully as you can. So I finally got to the end, and I submitted the form, and then you had to pay for it. And there were some wrinkles there as well. The whole payment procedure was confusing. I was worried. To be honest, by the time I was done the whole process, I was worried that I had submitted 10 different applications and paid for it 5 different times, because every time I tried to do something, the system would hang up and I would have to restart it and do it all over again. So I was kind of worried that I would end up paying hundreds of dollars because I'd submitted so many different applications. But it all worked out in the end. I submitted one application, paid for it one time, and I got a message in an email acknowledging we have received your application and you will get an answer from us in the next 3 to 5 business days. Anyway, took 2.5 hours, took 2 cups of coffee. Surprised I only had 2 cups of coffee, but I was so busy. I was so engrossed in what I was doing, I didn't even have time to drink coffee. But it's done, and now I just wait to hear from them. Surprise, surprise! I missed my stop. I was so busy telling the story of my visa application, I just wasn't paying attention. I went right by KLCC, so I have to turn around and go back. That's all right. The way these systems work, of course, that's my train on one side of the platform, and the train I want is on the other side of the platform. So I just have to walk from there over to here and go back one stop. This is where I ended up. I'm at Demai Station, and as far as I know, I've never actually exited from Demai Station before. I've never come to this neighborhood. I wonder when my next train is coming. 4 minutes. So, finally got this all figured out. I was just traveling from here, Masjid Jamek, to go to KLCC, but I wasn't paying attention. I ended up at Ampang Park, still not paying attention. I went all the way to Demai, but then I had to come back. So here I am at KLCC. And this place can be a little bit confusing too, just getting in and out of the LRT station to the mall itself. I've got to cross the street. I want to go to the pavilion. Well, no, I want to go to Decathlon. That's why I came here. Completely forgot. So let's do that. And I have found when you get around KLCC and you're around the Petronas Towers and you're indoors, security gets a little bit more concerned about cameras. So I've been told several times around here to put my camera away. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll reappear once I'm outside. I'm here. I think all the time I've been talking about coming here, I kept saying pavilion, but I was wrong about that. I wanted to come here to Decathlon, and I think I was thinking of this mall over here, the Surya KLCC, which of course is right at the base of the Petronas Towers. You can really only see one of them right now, but the Petronas Towers are right here. Trust me on that. But where I wanted to go was there, Decathlon. And the reason for that is that I got a lead on some basic sandals available there. So I'm going to to be honest, as I said, I'm so tired already. I can't face shopping, but I've got to do it at some point. Let's get it done today while I'm out and about. And while I'm doing this, I can continue with Planet Doug stories. Moving on to a YouTube story. I came across a video from a Canadian YouTuber, not a big famous one yet, but he's from Canada. All these people are crossing the street here. I will join them. We don't have a green walk light yet, but there's no traffic coming. So yeah, this guy, his channel, I think it's called Yagu7 or something like that. And he's from Toronto. He lives in Toronto. And apparently he's moving to Kuala Lumpur. I don't know all the details of how he ended up in Malaysia. He came here for a month-long trip, and now he decided to move here. So he's moving from Toronto to Kuala Lumpur. And he posted this video. I'll show you the thumbnail. Can't remember the exact name of it, but it was something like comparing Kuala Lumpur to Toronto. Which city wins? And as soon as I saw that, I started to laugh already, because I had a feeling like I knew what he was going to talk about, and I knew which city was going to win. To me, there's no comparison. There's really nothing to even talk about. So I thought it'd be a very amusing video to watch. And I was right about that. It ended up being just like, I'll spoil the competition. It's not really a spoiler because you know. Kuala Lumpur got 10 out of 10. Toronto got 1 out of 10. So KL beat Toronto easily, 10-1. So we started off, I think the very first category, he said, okay, category 1, weather. And I just started laughing. Yeah, right. So of course, I mean, Kuala Lumpur is pretty hot, humid and muggy for a Canadian. We're not going to like that. But if you're talking about weather in general, sure, KL is going to win once you start talking about minus 20 degrees, winter time in a city like Toronto. I mean, winter can really produce a magical wonderland, but to experience that, the real powdery snow, the beauty of winter, you sort of have to be outside of the big city. You see that in the countryside, you see that in the Rocky Mountains, you see that in the prairies, but in Toronto, winter and weather, it's just grim and dreary and just seems to go on forever. Piles of snow that have turned black at the side of the road because the snow gets plowed to the side and then just gets covered in dirt as time goes by. And then on into the spring, these big piles of black snow are just slowly melting, the cold weather. So anyway, when you talk about weather and climate, Kuala Lumpur is going to win, and it won his competition. And then he moved through a bunch of categories like public transportation, category 2, whatever category 2 was, but one of the categories was public transportation. I just started laughing right away because Toronto, whatever's good about Toronto, it is not known for public transportation. I lived there for a while, a long time ago, and it was horrible. We've got streetcars, which are kind of interesting, but they're kind of horrible. The subway system compared to the system here in KL or Taipei or Seoul or anywhere is very small, very primitive, just not good at all. So when you're trying to compare public transportation between Kuala Lumpur with its LRT, MRT, monorail, rapid KL buses, all the systems that they have here, just blows Canada out of the water. It's just a joke to even try to compare them. So I just laughed as soon as he said that. So yeah, so that was transportation. Then he went on to food, and of course, and I just started to laugh as soon as he said, okay, category whatever, food. How is the food in Toronto compared to KL? And sure, if you're a millionaire, I'm sure you can find good food in Toronto. It's a major world city. It's going to have all the food you could want. Yeah, but to eat out in Toronto is so expensive, and you have to go to restaurants. Nobody can afford it anymore. The rich can afford it, but as he said in his video, the average Canadian in Toronto, they can't afford to do anything anymore. That's what he was saying. They just stay home and watch TV. They watch Netflix because Even like going to the Royal Ontario Museum, nobody can afford to do it. He said a ticket was like $50, $60 per person to go into the museum. KL is jammed with museums that are completely free or have a nominal entrance cost. So, and of course, food, I mean, come on. I just went to the farmer's market, sort of a farmer's market in Shah Alam. Every Sunday morning, they have a big market there. Talk about food. Everywhere, anything you could want. Great, delicious, hot, fresh food at a very reasonable price. Go anywhere in KL, there's food everywhere. So, I mean, yeah, food, KL wins. One thing he did say that was interesting was diversity, because I think in Canada, if you talk to any Canadian, what are you proud of in terms of being a Canadian? And then especially anyone in the government, they're going to talk about diversity, because Canada is a land of immigrants, and we're very proud of that in general, being a very tolerant society made up of people from all over the world. Granted, that is true, but at the same time, when you think about it, think about holidays, national holidays, where everybody gets a day off. They tend to be the mainstream Western Christian holidays. You get Christmas off, but here in Kuala Lumpur, with all the major religions and cultures here, almost all of their major holidays are honored. They're celebrated by the city. So all of them are celebrated. Hindu holidays, Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, you see them all here. But really in Canada, the Christian holidays are the ones that are emphasized. Christmas, Easter, and then things like Thanksgiving, Halloween, whatever. But in KL, when you think about it, yeah, I mean, every time I turn around, it's another holiday. And it will be a national day off for people where businesses are closed, people don't have to go to work, and it could be a part of the Buddhist holiday calendar, the Islamic holiday calendar, the Christian one, the Hindu one. And I thought, yeah, you know, that's actually kind of right. In many ways, it's a much more tolerant, culturally diverse society here in Kuala Lumpur. But anyway, that's enough to talk about. I could go through all 10 categories, and I laughed aloud at every single one because I knew exactly what he was going to say. And in fact, I've said the exact same things myself. In the past, I've talked about all these things, comparing KL or any city in Asia to life in Canada. And Canada usually doesn't fare very well unless you are extremely wealthy, and that's a whole other kettle of fish. Then Canada can be a pretty amazing place. But for the average person, it is a wonderful country, it's a nice place. But for someone like me and opportunities to live a rich, full, interesting life, yeah, there's no comparison. Malaysia is the place to be. Certainly Kuala Lumpur, not Toronto. And that was what he said in his video. For all I know, he's here already. He's moving here. So I'll keep track of his channel, see if he starts posting videos from Kuala Lumpur. Could be quite entertaining. So I'm going to go into Decathlon. I'm not going to run my camera when I'm in the mall, but maybe I'll fire it up when I look at some sandals. See you in a minute. I'm inside Decathlon now, and I'll take a chance and turn on my camera just to show you what a Decathlon looks like. It is a massive sports store, and I believe that they're known for a wide variety of products, but also at a attractive price, I think. We're not talking about high-end, really expensive gear. You can get things here at to suit pretty much any budget. There's a lot here meant for all this jogging equipment, and there's camping equipment, tents and things like that. And I'm here just to look at sandals. I might walk around a little bit just to look at what they have in general after I check out the sandals. But as you can see, sports equipment, all the clothing, specialized clothing you need for any particular sport. And over here, it looks like this is the kayaking, water sports, snorkels, masks, and here are the tents. stoves. There's also a big bicycle section. Aha! Here we are. This is what I'm looking for. And look at that, a nice place to sit. Nicely air conditioned in here. I think even I, child as I am when it comes to the horrors of shopping, I think even I can settle in here and try things on. And it looks like they have a range. Looks like the upper range are these more full-on things. They're sort of a combination. Shoe, sandal, 189 ringgit, 139, 99, 69. So I'm assuming my sandals are here in the middle somewhere. 69 ringgit, maybe 99 ringgit, somewhere in there. Hopefully when I walk out of here, I will have different sandals. Time to try some on. These are my first ones to try. They fall into the 99 ringgit category. And the one thing I like about them is they have a buckle here. The main thing is a buckle. And sometimes that's handy. This, to be honest, first impressions are not good. Everything feels very thin and very cheap. The cheaper ones actually look more comfortable, but I remember liking this buckle system as opposed to just Velcro. But I got used to the Velcro over time. And but the only way to know, as I know from experience, is to try something on, as horrible as that experience might be. These are the next contenders. The ones I just tried on, I wasn't that pleased with. These ones just have a much simpler design, wider straps. I'm not thrilled about the look overall. And all the sandals here have this new thing that I've never seen before, where the toe goes up like a boat. It's like really, really high. It's like you're putting your foot down inside a canoe. I've never seen that before. I guess it's just a fashion choice to make the sandals look different this year. I don't have high hopes for these in terms of how they feel, but yeah, no, I don't like that at all. No, definitely. It's funny how you don't notice things right away. No, the front strap here, you see, all it does is come over and Velcro holds it in place. And you can easily catch that somewhere and it just tears open, right? I don't like that at all, because the ones that I have now are a little bit more secure. So the ones that I have now, right, the strap goes through a buckle over here and you pull it through the buckle. These are quite old, so they don't move around. And then you fold it over, and so the Velcro isn't holding it in place. The buckle is. And then the Velcro is just putting a little bit, it's just adjusting the length, more or less. So that's what I'm looking for. This style here, the cheap ones, that's definitely a no-go. So it's a good thing I saw that design. But yeah, keep looking. The next contenders, I don't particularly love these, just looking at them, the brown. I just rather have simple black, but they seem only to come in brown. But the overall design seems much better. This one has, you know, the buckle that I was talking about, and then it folds over. This buckle here, much nicer than the ones I saw. Everything is higher quality. And these are more expensive. They're $139 as opposed to $69 and $99, but much nicer, everything about them. If these are size 10, American sizes, but let's see how this goes. Let's get it nice and loose. Much better than the other ones. Yeah, there's just like no comparison. These ones are far and away more comfortable, better design. The brown is fine. What do I care about the color? So far, these are the winners. And when I was looking at the description again, they did have what I was talking about. They described them as the design encourages grip on mountain trails, and they don't have that ridiculous canoe front on it. And you can see from the sole, got a nice, looks like a nice grippy pattern down there, which makes you feel like you're a tough outdoorsman, whether you ever wear them outdoors or not. And I found a 9.5 size. This is 9.5, and it seems to fits my right foot anyway. Now I'm going to try my left foot. I didn't buy any. The brown ones were good enough, perhaps. But for example, when I compare them to the ones I'm wearing now that I bought at Bata, however long ago it was, they're just much more luxurious, wider straps, more cushioning, bigger, better buckles, everything about them. So the ones there at Decathlon, just about good enough, I suppose. I could have bought them, but everything felt a little bit thin, a little bit cheap, a little bit uncomfortable, sharp edges. Anyway, it's always best, I find, on Planet Doug anyway, to walk away and just take your time. Don't rush into a purchase. I've got 10 seconds to cross the road. And I'm down here below the giants, all these buildings going up, new ones, old ones. Look at that. Yeah, this is where Decathlon is located. That's the Four Seasons place up there, big shopping mall. And I'm assuming that's the Four Seasons Hotel or business complex. I have no idea. And then over there, one of the Petronas Towers. The other one, you can't see it. It's on the other side. But yeah, tall buildings all around. And I'm diving back into the LRT, MRT system. Coming down to the platform. Again, you can tell it's old school LRT just because of how narrow the platform levels are. Everything you can tell is just not on the same level as the new MRT systems. KLCC, and I'm heading back to Masjid Jamek. I may get off here, call it a day, or I may keep shopping. In that case, I'm going to keep going to Pasar Seni. But I have a feeling my day is going to end here. I'm played out. I'm finished. No more shopping for me today. I can do one shopping errand at a time, and that's it. Yeah, I'm such a shopping wimp. As soon as I got anywhere near my hotel here at Masjid Jamek, I dove off the LRT. No more. I'll have a chance to go out into the stores again in the next few days. So I'm going to check. I'll probably go down to Mega Mall at Mid Valley again. Go to the Bata shoe store there. Maybe there's other places. Just to take a look at a couple other sandals, just to make sure I'm buying the right ones. Why not? I don't absolutely need sandals today. So anyway, here I am at Masjid Jamek, back in my home neighborhood. Another YouTube story as I approach my hotel. I watched the latest video from Tread the Globe. That's the UK van lifers driving around the world in a large camper van. And last we heard from them, they had shipped their camper van from Port Klang here in Malaysia to India, and they flew. So their van is in transit on a cargo ship of some kind, and they flew to Calcutta, and now they're in Calcutta waiting to be reunited with their camper van. And in the latest video, it's their second one from India. The first one was them just flying there and their first day in the country, getting settled into their hotel and then moving to a different hotel. And in this video, they're settled in, they're established in their hotel, and they went out for a walk in their neighborhood. The video was called, I believe, India Seriously Shocked Us. And on the thumbnail itself, it says, "This is India." And India seriously shocked us. A little bit clickbaity for me, because there's really nothing in their video that's particularly shocking. I don't know, maybe if you've never been to a country like India before, or never been to a busy market, it might surprise you, I suppose. It's like, oh wow, look at this, it's so cool. But there was nothing particularly shocking going on that I could see. And they themselves didn't seem particularly shocked. Maybe Marianne, is that the woman's name? Occasionally I was looking at her face in the video, and there did seem to be a little bit of a deer in the headlights sort of look. And because he's doing all the filming for this video, he was holding the camera, and occasionally she was walking ahead of him. I can't think of his name. And then she would turn around and look, and she had a little bit of a look on her face, like she didn't really know, couldn't really quite comprehend what she was looking at. So she did seem a little bit shocked from time to time, I suppose. I popped into a 7-Eleven, and they happened to have vanilla Coke. I always preferred out of a can for some reason, Coke, vanilla Coke, Pepsi, anything like that. It's probably total imagination. And if you put a blindfold on me, I couldn't tell the difference. And yet somehow out of a can, I always think it tastes better. Maybe because it feels colder when you hold onto a bottle like this. It doesn't feel cold because the plastic is insulating. But that's good stuff. But it would be better if it was in a can or poured over ice, drinking out of a straw. That's the only way to really enjoy this. Well, I was talking about Tread the Globe, and I have the thumbnail in front of me here. There's their the page and the video, and it does say "This is India." And when I saw that thumbnail, where I think Marianne is standing and she's surrounded by this group of men, and she's got a relatively odd expression on her face, and she's holding her hands like this, and a man looking at her has got kind of a stern expression. So my assumption was, oh, they got in trouble in India, like this is India, and all these men were hassling them or something. That was my impression from the thumbnail. But then when I watched the video, it was nothing like that at all. In that, when that thumbnail, when that was taken in the video, these men had just said hello to them and asked if they could have a selfie. So these men were taking selfies with them. It was just a standard taking selfies with people moment. And I guess somehow they zeroed in on this one moment and made it look, to me, I think they did it deliberately to make it look more dramatic than it actually was. But it was really just a friendly encounter, maybe a little bit high energy or something like that, because India can be a high energy sort of place. But yeah, when they went for a walk, there happened to be a big flower market, a traditional flower market where you get like the garlands, the long orange flower garlands, you know what I mean? You take those to temples and donations over the statues and over the priest's neck, things like that. And I've been to those places, of course. You see them in Thailand as well. And early in the morning, they can be very busy, and they're very, very interesting places. So they went for a walk. It was a bit later in the day for them. It wasn't early morning or anything like that. But yeah, a lot of beeping goes on at 7-Eleven. So yeah, they went for a walk through the flower market. It was a pretty busy place, kind of interesting to see. And then they walked through some narrow alleyways very busy shops and market areas through that area of Calcutta. And that was pretty much the video. No, then they hopped in a grab and they went to a special restaurant they'd picked out. They'd seen it on Google Maps, had lots of positive reviews about having it was a good restaurant selling really tasty biryani, and they went there for lunch. And I think that was more or less the end of the video. I enjoyed watching it, really did. It's fun to see the streets of India, all that life that you get there. It's like no other place in the world, really. And in terms of the overall journey that they're on and the videos they're going to make, I'd be more interested if they just stayed in Calcutta. They could stay there for a month, for me, and just shoot videos in Calcutta. I mean, even if you stayed there a full month, you wouldn't even come close to seeing everything in that one city. But their trip is something different. And once they get their camper van back, then they're going to start driving the camper van through India. And that's probably going to be very challenging. I don't know what their route is. I don't know how they're getting from Calcutta to the UK. The land journey, I'll have to look at a map and think about the border crossings. Are they going to run into a barrier of some kind? I think there's all kinds of challenges along that way. I've watched videos and read articles about a lot of people who do that journey by bicycle, and they have trouble getting through all the stands, all the mountainous stand countries up there, because the visa periods are very short, and then getting across them on a bicycle can be very difficult. Getting the visas can be challenging, but maybe if you're driving a camper van, it's not as big a deal. Even if they only give you 7 days in the country, you can get across the whole country. But I don't know what their plan is, what route they've picked out, what countries they're going to go through. So looking forward to that. And I think that is it for today's behind the scenes. I thought I would extend it further into having lunch and doing some more shopping. I need reading glasses in particular. My normal ones broke, and I only have these blue ones, my Elton John glasses, but they're too strong. They're meant for very up close. My other ones are meant for looking at a computer screen, so I have to buy another pair of reading glasses further away. And I was going to do that today, but nah, I think I'm done for the day. So that's it, shutting down. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Just telling the story about my Vietnam visa application, coffee with Daryl, looking at some sandals at Decathlon on Planet Doug. That's a full day. I'm exhausted. I'm so hot. Time to shut down, enjoy the rest of my vanilla Coke. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.